Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Melanie Richmond, and I'm your executive well-being coach with True North Wellbeing Coaching. Today on our live show, we have a very special guest, Samantha Bahr. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Samantha is actually an expert in weight loss. So I know our demographic, our clientele, a lot of us are working at a desk in front of a computer, sitting a lot all day. So some of us might have added a few extra pounds over the last 2 years. So some of my clients might be in need of your service this year. But today we're going to be talking a little bit more about the afternoon slump because that's something that so many corporate professionals face, where you're super productive in the morning and then after lunch something happens, a flip of a switch, and then you want to jump off of work early because you don't have the energy to be as productive as you were in the morning. So before we jump into that, Samantha, why don't you give us a little bit of your journey as to what brought you into the health and wellness realm, and how you've become an expert in this field?
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. So I was actually an owner in a nutrition club, and I had worked my way up to being an owner quite quickly. And through that process, I actually kind of started to feel like something was a little off. Like it's almost like I was doing something wrong, but I didn't really know what it was. And I believed in myself and my mission of what I was doing with my career choice, but I just couldn't quite pinpoint what exactly was that I was feeling like this disconnect with. And then it was one day I made a sale that literally changed my life forever. So in this sale, well, actually, quick little backstory. Let me back up for a moment. My job was to help people in the club, get them, set up with the things that were going to be best support their health and nutrition and fitness goals. And part of the process was to get people on products to take home with them so they didn't have to come in every single day, to the club. And so part of that process was well, for me, I would build relationships with people and then invite them to do a sit down with me and just do a personal one-on-one chat and talk about how they could do that. And so this one time, I met up with a lady who had started to get to know me a little bit, and she accepted my invite. And it was in this sale that I finally figured out what it was that I was feeling. Because what happened was she met up with me, and she said that she really needed to lose the weight because of X, Y, and Z, and that she had just gotten paid that day and she had just enough money to buy the products. And so she was going to do it because she knew she really needed help. And so then she put her cold hard cash down on the table, grabbed the products, and left. And it was in that moment that it just like a light bulb went off. And I looked down at the cash and I just started bawling my eyes out because I realized that I was not truly a weight loss coach like my title, said that I was in the club. Because in that moment, I truly just felt like I was just a salesperson. And I realized that I did not believe in what I was doing, or at least in the way that I was doing it. And I knew that the shakes and the products that she had would help her, but I knew that I could educate her and I could empower her and equip her how to lose weight in a very healthy and sustainable way. And that's to be an investment that she could do, take with her for the rest of her life without needing to give up her precious paycheck every month just to stay on the products that could help her. And so it just all came down to me. And that was the last sale that I ever made. And I immediately started getting out of ownership in the club. And the way that I redeemed myself and restored my heart was to build a weight loss coaching program that did it the right way, in a way that I truly believed how to do it, which was by building relationships with people and education and everything focused around that. And so that's what started the Calories and Confidence weight loss coaching program. that was back in 2016, and we've just grown and grown
I
from there.
I love that, Samantha. Thanks for sharing because at True North, we're all about living in alignment with our heart.
Hmm.
And you're showing such a good example of that, knowing that, there was a different way for you to help clients and make the impact you want to make with them, with the weight loss, with your program. And you took a full dive into it and are helping so many people now. So I really admire you and your work. And I think that that's very inspirational.
Thank you.
So and maybe before we jump into the topic of our afternoon slump, like, and I know this came up a little bit in your story, is like there's more to it than the weight itself, right? There's more to it. That's kind of the result of it. So let's back up a little bit. Like if somebody's really been struggling with trying XYZ, fast dieting or some workout programs, and they're just not getting the sustainable result. If you can you still hear me?
You cut out a little bit, but I can hear you
Am
again
I
now.
back? Okay. Can
Can
you
you hear
hear me
me?
now?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. I'll just back up a little bit. So
Sure.
people that have invested in programs and are not seeing the sustainable results that they want, the lasting results that they want, like usually it comes down to the mindset work. And I love that you said you develop those relationships with your clients because with anything in life, if you're making some major change, you have to have the right support surrounding you, the right environment, the right mindset. So, for any corporate professional that might be struggling with a few extra pounds or being active, like, do you have any advice for them?
Yes. And I see this all the time, actually. When people come in to, my program, it's very, very common for me to hear, I've done this and this, and I've done everything, and nothing seems to work. And
Yeah.
so the first thing I would say, which you're hitting on, is we have to start with mindset. And inside of our program, the very first thing that you do is mindset. Because the truth with, weight loss, like there are a lot of programs or things that you can do, and there is a testimony of a success story in all of them. It's why you hear about them, right? So it's not necessarily that all those things don't work, okay? Some of them certainly might be harder than others, right? But there is a mindset piece that is truly missing, is the foundation of this. And so going to the mindset first, working on the inside first, getting clarity and confidence are the two biggest things. So when it comes to wanting to change your body, okay, this is a physical thing. This could be energy, right? You just want to have more energy throughout the day, or you might just physically want your body changed because you have some extra weight that you want to come off, okay? Same category, all right? First, you have to accept right away from the beginning that in order to experience that change, you are going to become a different person. When you are 20 pounds down, you are not going to be the same person as you are when you are right now, right? And so getting crystal clear on who it is that you want to become is step one. Then you take it a level deeper. So I mentioned confidence and clarity. Our brain really likes confidence, really likes clarity. So you can dive into those things in tactical ways. When it comes to physically changing your body, you can set a period of time. That gives you, you hear an echo? I got a little bit of an echo on my end. There we go. All right, that's better. The most important part about what the mindset in experiencing this change physically is the emotional part. So think about like putting a goals or like a sticky note like on your mirror or something, right? You have the facts, right? It's right there, but you never really seem to do it. Well, it's because that sticky note or the written fact is not motivation enough to actually put you into action to break through any comfort zones that you need to in order to experience change. So it's not the goal or the change itself, right?
Yeah, I'll just
It's who you must become in the process of doing that. And that's where you tap into the emotional part of things. So step one, mindset.
a little bit of connection issues.
Oh no. I'll pause. Can you hear me now? Gotta love technology, right? Uh-oh.
Yeah, can you still hear me? I was actually debating if I should log in with my phone because my my home internet's not doing so great right now.
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're frozen. Am I frozen? No, it's just me. There you are.
Okay, I came on my phone because sometimes you have to work with technology. So let me just see if I can get rid of this guy. Okay, we should be good now.
Nice. There's a little echo in the background, but I can see you perfectly.
Okay, because we're live, we're gonna move things around here.
Different rooms. Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that, because I think it's so important to look at the mindset piece and behind anything that you're doing in life, any goal that you have. If you have it on a Post-it note on a mirror or you've written it down, that's one thing. But if you're really embodying that goal and you have some meaning, some really like deep reason why you want to achieve it, that's really what's going to carry you forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how's this sound now?
Much better.
Okay, good. Yeah, so let's dive into a little bit more about our topic today. So,
sure.
Afternoon slumps. People have their lunch break and then they just seem to crash. Like they're feeling kind of heavy. They don't have the same mental clarity. I know from my own education, like 70% of our energy goes towards digesting our food. So that's a lot of energy putting towards our food versus whatever else we wanted to be doing. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes we're not consuming the best foods so that it even weighs us down even more. So maybe if you can speak on, what's going to cause an afternoon slump more than anything else. Yeah. And then maybe ways to remedy it and increase your energy level.
Yes. Okay. So this really is kind of like a loaded question, loaded subject, because, well, it's very personal, like in what we all do and how much energy we exert throughout the day. We have kids, we don't have kids. We get 8 hours of sleep or we only get 5 hours of sleep. We rely on caffeine or we don't, right? So like, because we're so personal, this really kind of has branches, but I'm going to do my best to narrow it down into what I've seen is the most common and things to consider to implement for yourself to get over that afternoon slump. Okay. So first of all, do an honest assessment of those other things that I just mentioned. Sleep. Okay. Energy and sleep, they're directly correlated, right? So do an honest assessment on that and honestly, like ask yourself, should I really be getting a bit more sleep? Okay. That right there could add an extra, hour of energy in the midday just by diverting that energy. Okay. So once you rule that out, all right, now we're going to get a level deeper.
So I just have to jump in here because I am expecting and I'm all about the afternoon naps right now and I'm struggling without them. especially if I'm not at home and I can't take one.
Sure.
So I totally understand like getting that extra sleep throughout the night, going to bed earlier. If you can snooze a little bit longer, it makes such a big impact. And yeah, I totally agree with you there.
And I've had this conversation with a lot of my clients. What I'll hear is like, they're like, I know it, but I don't really like put the effort into actually getting an extra half hour or an extra 45 minutes. So what if you actually did? And what if it worked? Would it be worth it? And sometimes it's just like those honest conversations and simple things. And starting there is always a great place. Okay. But then there certainly are other things that can attribute to midday slump. So I'm going to go into energy on the inside now, nutrition. Okay. So when we eat food, we're consuming energy. Food comes in calories. Calories is a form of energy, and our body exerts energy and it does different things internally with energy. That's how we are living organisms, right? So when you eat, all right, digestion process is going to begin and energy is going to be diverted to the stomach because that's where most of the work needs to be happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once that digestion process is complete or slows down, then the energy starts to wane and it will go to other parts of the body, all right? So one of the biggest things that I see with this is people who sit at a desk all day or most of the day or don't take those breaks for snacks or for movement. And then they get to the lunch hour and they have a big lunch. Okay, so it's like a fasting, or maybe it's not a fasting, maybe you've had a smaller breakfast, but now you've had like a 4 hour window and now you're gonna have a big lunch. Okay. So when you have that larger lunch, right, in your stomach, your body is going to go into, all right, digestion mode, all this energy, right? And then it's just going to like poof. And you literally feel it in your body. Like you're full and you feel that in your stomach. And then you get like, all right, kind of like tired now. Because there's just so much happening when it was just like on the fasted or you weren't eating anything, right? So your body was just like in low mode. And then all of a sudden you have a big meal. It's like, all right, I'm doing all of this digestion, right? And so it's this like sudden burst of energy for that. And then you can like crash. So to overcome that, you can make your lunch. If that is your personal situation, like that's me. Get up even 5 minutes to have a smaller snack before your lunch to decrease just the quantity that you were eating during that lunchtime to change that energy output after your lunch. So that's just one scenario. Okay. The other thing that is probably not a surprise to hear, but is doing an honest check on the quality of the foods that you're eating. So to put it super simple, the more that you steer towards your single ingredient foods, the better off you are going to be with providing your foods with the most natural and energy, okay, giving foods. And this is like one of those things where it's not really rocket science. We know we should eat our fruits and veggies, but we either have excuses or we don't really like them, right? And so it's easier to just grab other things. And so I'm probably not the first person who's told you, eat your fruits and veggies. But if you are specifically struggling with that afternoon, energy and slump, would it be worth it to have an extra burst of energy by focusing on your favorite fruits and veggies beforehand to give you that extra energy output to get more out of your workday, to accomplish more, make another sales call, whatever it is that you do, right? Everyone's different. And so sometimes when I say this, the common things I'll get back is like, well, I don't like raw veggies, or I just like, it's so much easier to grab other things. Okay. So
and I think also from like the corporate standpoint, people that are working in an office, like they're rushing to get out the door in the morning. They might have kids to drop off at daycare and they might not bring a lunch, let alone a snack. So then they're going out away from their desk at lunch to grab something. And the places around the office might be not the healthiest single ingredient fruit and vegetable options.
Mm-hmm.
So really convenience is a big item. So I remember hearing a speaker once talk about that. Like when you're really lacking time to prepare things, bring the ingredients to work and actually do the preparation within that work kitchen, because that's
Mm-hmm.
better than, the alternate of getting some fast food that's going to weigh you down in the afternoon. So like even bringing a whole pepper or a whole carrot
Yeah.
and then actually cutting it up at the office, because you just have to have a knife on hand and you just leave it there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And to add on to that, what are your favorite items? Like what is a vegetable that you actually like? What is a fruit that you actually like? And to make it even easier, okay, so I always start there because you actually like them so that you'll actually eat them. You're not forcing yourself to eat something that you're choking down that's never going to work. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be like my husband trying to eat mushrooms at lunch. He would
Yeah.
never do that.
Right. So the other part is, what the really, really busy people or the convenience. Well, what is something that can last all day at room temperature? An apple. You can put it in your purse or your
Mm-hmm.
backpack, whatever, right? There's lots, well, it's very personal, right? But there's oranges, there's bananas, carrots. There's a lot of veggies that you would typically keep in your fridge that will stay just fine for 4 hours at room temperature. You don't have to worry about it. But again, focus on your favorites. Like think through, what are my top 5 favorite veggies? Could this work? Could I just start bringing one of those to work? What are my top 5 favorite fruits? Pick one of them, and could you start bringing that with you? And
Mm-hmm.
then I'll take this one level deeper, all right, for an energy standpoint. If you have the option to pair it with a lean protein, that's also going to help you in the long run for that energy piece. So, one of the easier ones that I tend to suggest for people, even if you don't have a fridge, is light string cheese sticks. They will stay perfectly fine all day, actually, at room temperature. And if you don't like them warm, then don't do that. But it can be something that's really easy that you can just pair with an apple. Two light string cheese sticks. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
Paired with an apple, right? Another option is just having some lean,
Peanut butter with an apple is also great.
super delicious.
Yeah.
So I always recommend start with thinking through what are my top 5 and then pick one and then do it. Like actually do it and see what happens. Make it super simple like that, right? And then you can build on it from there. So that's another kind of route with this afternoon slump.
And I love that you bring the protein part, because I find, like, especially with being pregnant now, like I'm trying to consume protein in absolutely every single time that I'm eating. But it's also really important when you're not pregnant and you're consuming your proteins, and increasing your blood sugar levels, and that energy level is really related to that, and adding it in with the fruit or veggies, like that's perfect. And if you think of like a charcuterie tray, like that's basically what it is, right? You got your
Mhm.
cheese, your fruit, your veggies, your nuts. So make yourself a little something. The other thing I wanted to tell the view or chat to the viewers about also was, some people find they don't have time for lunch because they're back to back meetings. They're so booked up. They're running from one thing to the next. And I think this goes beyond even eating lunch. It's just block time for yourself in your calendar. Like it's so critical for you to give yourself some time to breathe, to actually think, to be strategic, to be eating mindfully, actually looking at your food and not your email while you're eating.
Mhm.
Those are really good strategies to help you break through that afternoon slump, because you're actually physiologically like giving yourself a break, and you're not running from one thing to the next. So I always have a block in my calendar for lunch,
And that's my time, where I get a chance to unwind and nourish my body with what it needs. Mm-hmm. And that includes movement after. I usually try and eat lunch and then go for a walk is usually my game plan.
That was my next route, was do an honest check on how much are you moving throughout the day. Like, are you actually getting up and walking for 5 minutes, or are you just saying that you are? Like, sometimes it's just going back to being honest with ourselves. But when it comes to energy again, right, and we're sitting, okay, and we're doing emails or we're on calls, okay, our energy is in a certain place with our body, right? And then we can start to feel that drain. Well, a little snap, breaking that out is just simply moving your body. Get out of your chair, walk to the end of the hallway, do a little stretch, come back, and then that could be 2 minutes. 2 minutes of just moving your body and getting your muscles moving in a different way, right? Seeing something, your brain focuses on something else. Just those little things alone can help you to overcome that midday slump. So do an honest check on, are you moving your body, and not just in your chair. It's actually getting up and moving the rest of your body and allowing your eyes to see different things, right? That will make the greatest difference for just the little tiny efforts. Yeah. So that would be another route.
I love that you say that too. And if I was doing my PhD or like doing some sort of a research project, I'd love to look at, various companies and how many steps corporate employees actually get in a day, because it's probably less than 3,000. And the daily recommendation is 10,000 steps in a day just to maintain our health, like our bodily functions. And that's not even with like adding in your 3, core exercises a week or whatnot. So if we're not even getting 3,000 or just meeting that mark, what can we do? What behaviors can we change throughout our day to add more steps? And so maybe in the afternoon, like if you have a meeting one-on-one with somebody, can you do it while you're walking? Can you put your earbuds in, your Bluetooth, and go for a walk, go outside? Like that could really increase your energy and change your environment and add so many health benefits. So I love that you bring it up, because I'm also about the micro breaks, but I find sometimes you need something a little bit longer. And if you can squeeze it in with a meeting, it's like 2 birds, 1 stone. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yes. I do that all the time. Walk and talk. Like, can I walk and talk on this? Yes. Some things you can't, but if you can, do it. It's the little things again that will make a difference. Continuing on with movement, the next level to this is intentional movement outside of work, like exercise. Like, this doesn't mean you have to have a gym membership. Okay. It could be an intentional walk, a mile walk, a 2 mile walk, or maybe you're running, or maybe you have a Peloton program or something that you're not using. Okay. Or a Beachbody program that you're not using, right? Or maybe you have resources, whatever. But you actually intentionally moving and doing some cardio and some strength conditioning. Again, this is all energy diversion in our body. And that is absolutely going to make a difference with how you feel throughout the day, right? And how your brain operates throughout the day, even to convince you to get off of the chair and to go walk to the end of the hallway and back. It seems so silly, but I promise you these things are connected. So outside of that, when it comes to our overall health and wellness, not even just energy, slumps, just being the best versions of ourselves, putting our health first so that we can get the most out of what we're doing in our work and then with our family. I don't need to convince you that there are so many benefits that come with having an intentional movement plan or activity plan or exercise plan, whichever word you want to associate with you personally, right? So I know we can all have different feelings on exercise and whatnot, and nutrition, right? So just do those honest checks with yourself. Honestly, how is my sleep? Honestly, how is my nutrition? honestly, am I getting up and moving throughout the day at work? Honestly, what is my exercise like? Can I honestly make one small improvement in any one of those areas? And just start there. That'll
Mm-hmm.
take you far. I
Yeah.
promise.
Yeah, I love that. And it could be as simple as, I want to try and drink, 4 glasses of water throughout my 8-hour workday. And, so every 2 hours, you should be getting up at least to like fill up that water glass,
Yes.
use the bathroom or whatever, maybe have a quick hello with somebody. So there's simple things that you can do. Or you say, hey, I am no longer using the elevator at work. And I'm going to start using those stairs, like no exception.
Yes.
So there's just simple things that you can start really committing to. And those, you don't have to do them all at once, but those small commitments, those behavior changes, those habits really can create a huge impactful change in your health, your energy, your overall well-being. So thanks, Samantha, for sharing such great information with our guests. Again, I apologize for anybody watching with a little bit of technology disruption, but that's okay. You hung on. Is there anything that you want to leave our guests with before we close off today?
Yes, there is. So going back to what I said, do the honest check. Don't just take this information and be inspired by it or take it as a good reminder. Like honestly do it and put it into action. And I promise you're going to experience something new from it. So if you listen in to this because you knew that you were, you related to low energy and midday slump and whatnot. Okay, well now here's your direct accountability to put it into action.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would leave with.
Yeah, and I find like when you take that honest check, it might be a little bit heartbreaking at the start, being like, oh, I'm really not getting my steps in, or I'm really, eating out a lot and not the greatest things. But that's information, and that information doesn't have to be necessarily negative. It's information for you to do something with it. It's an opportunity for you to change that script and make it what you want, so that you can be the best version of yourself and you can feel how you want to feel and embody that. And it's ultimately going to impact not only yourself and your overall well-being and how you show up and how productive you are, but also people are going to start noticing you. Like they're going to say, hey, you have so much more energy. Hey, you're looking, you're glowing more, or you look slimmer, toner, whatever that looks like. And, it also just creates that lasting impact within your environment. And it's really, really powerful. So thank you so much, Samantha, for coming on today. If our viewers want to reach out to you, I know you have so much great information and programs out there. What's the best way?
Yeah, the best way would be to head over to the Food, Fitness, and Confidence Facebook group. It's the easiest in. And as soon as you get in there, you're going to see a whole library of free trainings that you can take advantage of. It is a weight loss and fitness, health minded community. So, based on the things that you're specifically looking for, you can literally find like a headline like carbohydrates and weight loss, protein and weight loss, getting toned, hunger, cravings. Like you can search through it like that. So it's all there waiting for you. All you got to do is head over to the Food, Fitness, and Confidence Facebook group and start taking advantage of all of those.
Okay, perfect. Well, be sure to mark that in the comments on all the platforms that we're on today. Thanks again so much, Samantha. And again, my name is Melanie Richmond, your well-being coach. And watch out for more information. We will be having a webinar at the start of August on doing audit for your overall well-being, but we'll be looking honestly at all of those different sectors, including the food, nutrition, energy side, but also your family life, your relationships, your community, and other things. So take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.